Speaking of the Oilers, though, what kind of changes do you see them making?
Well, it all depends. Like, they only play once here in the next 10 days. And I got to think they're going to find a way to beat Ottawa. If they lose to Ottawa, well, then obviously, that you know how it is, Frank. The more time you have off to stew about something, a lot of times the worse it becomes in your head. And it just builds and it builds and it builds. And if the Oilers somehow lose that game, then they've only won 2 of their 14 games. They go 2-10-2, and you don't play again for 10 days minimum. Because who knows, maybe that Florida game will be postponed as well on the 20th. Mm-hmm. So it just opens up a window to say, well, if we're going to make a coaching change, here's the time to do it because you have 8 days of practice.
Anyone could look at that and see that as a likely possibility.
That's not me with any insider alleged information. That's just common sense. Right.
I think Ken Holland is loath to fire Dave Tippett.
I agree. When you actually look at a lot, Mike Kelly from the NHL Network did a whole feature on the underlying numbers of the Edmonton Oilers in this funk. And really the thing that's hurting them is goaltending. At the end of the day, it's goaltending.
It's incredible.
So to me, you have a solution. I wrote this. Like, I don't understand why. Now, here's why. I believe the change that will be made. So the
will be Koskinen for Stuart Skinner.
Yes. Right. It's safe.
And I think you're probably going to see some young guys come up from Bakersfield.
Potentially. They don't really have a lot of young guys down there, though. That's the thing. Like, they've already got them up here, right? Yeah, you're not going to bring up Broberg. Niemelainen, once he comes back healthy, I think he'll be their third pair left defenseman. They really liked him. He had a new dimension. He was physical.
I think all those guys are in play. Broberg, Samorukov, the whole group.
Well, I don't think they'll bring them up because Duncan Keith actually has played quite well in this funk for the rest of the team.
He's actually been totally fine.
Yeah, he's been good. Him and Nurse, so there they go. There's one defense opening on the left side. They don't have any right shot defensemen, so I think it's Niemelainen when he's healthy. Up front, maybe you bring up Cooper Marody, but I'm not sure what a difference that'll make. So to me, it's Stuart Skinner for Koskinen, and then they'll go from there. Ken Holland has a history of being incredibly patient. And I think they'll say, hey, we can figure this out. They played a stretch of 11 defensemen due to injuries.
How far away is Dylan Holloway?
He is still just skating. I reached out to some guys yesterday about Holloway, and
he's another guy I would circle as a potential option.
Yeah, but he hasn't played any hockey in like almost a calendar year. He will for sure be in the minors, I would think, for at least 6 weeks. I think the goal is to have him there by the end of this month. And then he can play there February. You kind of look at him as a trade deadline acquisition that doesn't cost you anything. But I think he's got to play at least a month in the American League. He hasn't played any pro hockey.
Right. I think, so who would be some of the odd guys out? Derek Ryan?
Well, yeah, Derek Ryan right now, the way he's struggled, I would play Shore and Sevier as your fourth line center. McLeod's your third line center right now. Other than that, I don't think there's, I would probably actually play Perlini more. Right. Perlini's got 3 points, 2 goals in his last 4 games, and he doesn't play a lot.
Well, I mean, it's been a very recent development, but before that, he looked like he was on the ropes a bit.
Oh, 100%. Well, he got sent down to the minors, but you know what? He went down. He scored 2 goals in his first game. Then he got recalled, and it seemed like that gave him a jolt of confidence. So Edmonton doesn't have a lot of great answers internally for forward position. I think those are the biggest tweak is the goalie one. They 100%. They sent down the goalie who saved their bacon this year. Yeah, well, and a lot of it was due to cap reasons, I'm sure. Cap reasons, but also I think they felt when they activated Mike Smith that he wasn't going to be as bad as he was in his first 2 games. Definitely the second game. He looked better against Toronto, right? He was fine. I asked Mike. And actually the Oilers game itself was fine against Toronto. Yeah, they were okay. They were outmanned. Toronto had way more talent top to bottom on the ice that night. But I think they're going to see how if Mike Smith, yeah, he got unlucky on the first goal. McKenna and McLennan and all the goalie guys, I asked him about it. And the rest of the game, he was fine. If he plays like that, I do believe, though, that Skinner, the reason they haven't called him up is because their minor league system's playing a ton of games right now. So he can play a lot of games down there. He stays fresh. And they don't have a lot of bodies. And the Oilers play 1 game right now on the 10th until the 20th. So you know what? After that, if you want to make a change, right? Smith plays on Monday. Then they can switch Koskinen and Skinner out on January 19th if they want. I think that would be the first change. 19th for number 19. If they lose the game, Frank, then all bets are off. Right. Yes.